because we're gonna do this live right now, man. And I ain't even gonna bury Wiseman like that.
Hey, you could bury him as much as you want. You know, I'm always gonna resurrect him with some love, especially if he started balling. If he started balling, you already know I'm coming at you.
That's an if though. Like at some point you have to ask yourself what reason you had to believe he's going to start balling, right? And I just watch him and like he's just, I haven't watched him in a while, so I'm gonna refrain from that. Did you watch the Hornets game tonight?
Let's talk about it.
Man. Well, I'm starting with Mark Williams, man, because that dude is going to be good. Defense already, he's
league ready. He's league ready.
I'm talking like dudes were driving and just bailing out and just drilling out the key, like weren't even attempting shots. Like he only had a couple blocks, but he probably altered or stopped like 10 shots where people didn't even do something.
Okay.
He got one where he straight up snatched Trae Young's floater out the air. Like, didn't block it, he cuffed it.
Maybe the only time that happens all season. Oh, goodness! Just emasculated him. Look at Mark Williams on the defense.
Yeah, Barkley. Old school Barkley.
It looks so disrespectful though. He goaltended Clint Capella's hook shot.
So now a three-pointer in 52 consecutive games for LaMelo. With the left hand, oh, to be a goaltend. Clint Capella gets two more.
Right, so like, there's this old, who was the Lakers announcer? Chick Hearn.
Yeah,
that's who it was. Well, he had this old call with it was Wilt trying to guard Kareem, and Kareem was just beating him up with the sky hook. And Chick said he said he couldn't guard him with a rake. but that's what I thought about, because it looked like Mark Williams had a rake in his hand. Like I was like, how did you just? Because honestly, it was a goaltend, but like. Still, it was a hook shot. Like you're not supposed to be able to block a hook shot, man.
Yeah.
So defensively, he was dominant. He bothered his length, bothered Capella, but Capella could muscle him. And a few times, Mark was too upright, and so he had position, but then. It was a little forearm, and he's moving, and Capella's getting him right.
So unless you get a work down and get yourself a whistle, the Griffins are always going to have that on top of the curtains.
Yeah, they are. That's for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that way, that vets can do it, where they can move you without looking like a foul. But like, I know what I'm looking at. I can see when someone should get the rebound, but they don't, and like, so that was happening. He did a better in the second half of that. But then, like, man, in the first half, they probably ran like 8 pick and rolls through him, to multiple different scenarios, all over the floor. Short roll.
So the Hornets going to try and double their pleasure this time down the floor. Gordon Hayward, bounce pass. Williams, 2 attempts, and the second one falls.
Long roll.
Good pass. Mark Williams knows what to do with it.
Yeah, Mark sent the initial screen on LaMelo.
2 different coverages at him. The dude has hands. He has good feet. On one whirl, the help side dude slid over. He catches it, turns, sees the guy last second, Euro steps around him for the N1.
Didn't expect a lot of that.
Yeah, we haven't seen 3 yet. We're going retro. Whoa! Oh my goodness! With the left hand, it's the condor.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how tall is this dude? Like 7'2", 7'3", like he got a 7'3". Like he looks like a giant out there. Like he's like looks like Rudy Gobert out there. But he has feet. Getting switched on to Bogdanovich. Does nothing with him. Just gives it away. Like defensively, he's already good. And I'm thinking like offensively, he's gonna be all right. I posted a clip on Twitter where he caught the ball kind of high post, and the Hawks blew up the action, and he had no dribble left. And instead of panicking, this dude just like faked to Hayward, pivoted around, and just threw a dime down at the opposite block for a layup right there. Like
LaMelo's been sitting for a while. He's going to be well rested when he comes back in. Beautiful pass. One first rounder to the other.
For a dude, really, he really didn't play that like last year. He's really like a rookie for like his first time. But like, the dude is an NBA starter right now.
Yeah, because he got stashed off last year, right? So he got drafted. He got drafted 22. Then they stashed him off. Did he do any G League time last year?
Yeah, he did. He did G League.
Okay. Well, his time apparently served him well because tonight I'm seeing he had 15? Let's see, 15 boards. So he led the team in rebound. He led the game. I'm assuming he led the game in rebounding with 15.
He has a motor too. That's the other thing crazy. He has a motor.
Yeah.
And there's like and this is what made me think of Wiseman too, because there's one play where Trey is driving at him and he's leaving Capella to go to go stop Trey's layup. And so Trey's playing the whole cat and mouse game of making him commit till he's going to pass it or give him a floater. And Mark took away the shot. He decided, I'm going to take away the shot. I'm going to make you pass it. And as soon as he passed it, this dude like kicked his back leg up like he was expecting that pass to go. And he almost got the pass and he didn't. But then at the same time, he turned and then swipes the ball. Like he was tracking the ball the entire time.
And found the hot guy. 2-point ball game. Capella had raked away. Last touch by the Hornets.
And usually I would see something like something like a Wiseman. He would go challenge a shot and then pass, and he's like just looking almost like a dummy, just like, oh, where'd it go? But like this dude knew, like he knew Trey's options. He knew he knew he was looking at. He knew where his man was. Like to me, that's next level stuff right there. And yeah, you can hear my voice, but like I'm excited with the dude right now.
Yeah, you're not the only one though, man. He there's a lot of buzz. There was a lot of buzz about him on a couple of the other shows that I was watching too, especially with the Hornets enthusiasts. I like him in the mix because, like you said, now we get to see this dude. We get to see this dude in his rookie season. He's a lot more polished, and I feel like if he can contribute on this level on a nightly basis, he led him in plus minus 13 points. 15 boards. So I'm not expecting 15 a night, but I'm expecting this dude to potentially, he's gonna be a double figure rebounding guy, no problem. 3 steals.
No, hey, he's 15 and 10 easy.
15 and 10 a night. You think he can get it? Oh, I'm just saying, just the way this team is constructed.
He can't get 4 dunks a night.
I was gonna say 10 and 12, just based on because we weren't really able to see B Miller do what he was supposed to do tonight.
We're gonna talk about him later. Because this Hornets team is gonna be nice, man.
No, I love them.
They got pieces.
Yeah,
Terry looked good. Terry looked like he got something to prove. He said so, like in the preseason. I think he's looking around, kind of like this is his only shot to do anything. Like he makes too much money to really go to a contender right now, unless he's better. So it's almost like You can either try to win here in Charlotte or ball out and get moved to a contender, right?
Yeah.
But either way, you got to hoop. Like there's no way around. You got to hoop, right?
Yeah. I've always seen. I mean, it's weird that that I'm comparing him, but I've always seen him ultimately going to a contender after he's done his bid, like his 6 to 8 year bid, and then pulling up like a Jason Terry, like going to an actual contender, being like that seasoned vet, like that consummate vet. Like, hey, we don't need you to do a whole lot, but your vet impact on top of the fact that you can still produce and at a high quality as far as like what he does. Like I see him totally still going to contender. Like you said, right now he's still making too much money. How many years left he got left on that bag? I'm guessing 2.
At least 2.
Yeah. So then I'm gonna enjoy it while it lasts because I really enjoyed him as an addition to the squad. Like I think that he's a great. One of my buddies, he always complained about LaMelo not having a vet. I'm like, this dude is going to be a great vet for him. You know what I mean? Because Terry don't need a whole lot. He can get it done regardless of whatever the circumstance is. You play him high minutes or not, like he's still going to be able to produce on a nightly basis. He's just tough. He just seasoned. You can throw that dude at a brick wall. He's just going to bounce off of it. You know what I mean? He just is, man. He's just tough. He's a tough dude. He don't get enough credit.
You can't ask him to do too much, and he's not a. He's not a feature player. He's like a Reggie Bush, where like he's a playmaker, but he's not your every down back. I'm gonna get on. Like if you're doing that, it's not gonna work out for you type deal. But anyway, so it looks like he's in a good spot. They said he was a leader in the offseason. So I think he is embracing that vet role you're talking about. I think they're a playoff team. If everything clicks, they're a playoff team. B. Miller had how many?
He played 24 minutes. What do you have? 13 and 3.
But they was big shots. These was like fourth quarter shots. He had a step back where it was like the offense was stagnant. Hayward kicked it out to him. He pump fake, one dribble in, step back out to the 3, knocked it down. He just had ice in his veins, man. And like, I think they're like number 1 guy in the future.
You think so?
Because, like, man, like, watching him, he still has a lot of developing to do. It's like physically. You can just tell his basis is not that strong. He could probably be a little bit more like flexible. But like I can already see like the pop in him. Like there is a bag in there. And him being able to be like a secondary ball handler, playing off of LaMelo, like I see him attacking a lot of like 3-on-2s and 2-on-1s, and just that's not even counting like Miles Bridges comes back. Because if he's back in his old form, and you got B. Miller grows into what I think he's going to grow into, like even this year, like I'm gonna imagine this dude like in January, February really starts to like ascend. Like I'd say right now, I'd give him like a 2K rating of like he's like a 75 right now.
Yeah.
So he's like a 75. And I could see him be like an 82. And if you imagine just on a team like that, that's a big jump, and that changes what your team looks like. Realistically, I think I would put Gordon or Terry on the bench for him. He's not there yet. Like Gordon's clearly better right now. Just because you can just see it, like you can see the poise. I saw the same thing on like LaMelo's debut. Like you saw the clear difference between like a seasoned vet and just how calm he was, and he knew where all the spots were. He wasn't rushed. Like you could just you can see the big difference right there.
Yeah, I think this year is gonna be dope too because B Miller's got two cats that have played at like an all-star caliber level in Bridges and Hayward that he can. I'm talking about that iron is sharpening. I'm talking about he's getting so much game from those dudes. And think about it, like regardless of the circumstances with like Bridges, I don't think they're gonna keep him. I think it's gonna be a situation where I don't know what happens with Bridges. You know, I'm a huge fan of the kid outside of the circumstances. Don't know nothing about it. Not really gonna get into it. But just seeing like his development, the development they've had as far as like the patience with him to go from this stretch forward Michigan State tweener situation to really grooming himself into fitting into what he was going to be in the league. I see the Hornets having that same type of patience with him. Like they say, all right, cool. We didn't have to invest the bag in Bridges, but we know where that bag is going to be allocated to now. Hayward's going to get shipped off to a contender. Like we say, Terry in the next 2 years might get shipped off to a contender. If we can keep Miles around, we keep him. But if not, we take that same program that we built the Bridges machine off of and build him. And he's got two great vets that he can really like polish himself off with. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited to see like what he can be because I mean I think about Gordon Hayward all the time before that freak accident. I think about Bridges all the time, you know, like what I was able to see like him just in the 2 years before he actually got to that point where he was like, okay, this dude is an all-star. He's like legit. But like you could see it. Like you could see it in those years, like him, the chemistry that he put in with Melo, like the time that he put in on his jump shot, the time that he put in on actually being like a legit 3-and-D guy on top of the physicality. I'm excited for this kid, like actually his frame to actually pan out. Because like you said, the pop is there, but we got to figure out if he's going to be that wiry, strong cat like a young Paul George. Because I don't think they're going to build him up like a tank. I think he goes that route, like you said, like he's gonna rely on like the flexibility and that wiry frame to be able to do his damage, you know, because he's got so many levels to him already. So I'm excited for him to integrate himself into that package that they put together for Miles, because I think that's what the future of the team is him. So I mean, and clearly they invest in long term in Melo, right? So I like to see the chemistry that those dudes are going to put together on top of this young cat that everybody's excited for out of Duke.
LaMelo played horrible, and despite that, they still won.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a reflection of this team is a lot better than people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like they don't have anybody bad. Like they can go. You can go 10 deep, and your 10th player, your worst player is Nick Richards.
Yeah.
And he looks just like an NBA backup, like solid. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll set solid screens, he'll rebound, he'll finish dunks. Like he's solid. You know what I'm saying? That's your worst player.
Mm-hmm.
You got no one you have to hide. I mean, shoot, like the starting lineup, it's a little bit funky because it's not really clear. Are you playing for now? Are you playing for the future? But if you just go like LaMelo, Terry, Gordon, PJ, Mark Williams, that's 5 right there. PJ looked good. He looked really, really good. His defense, I'm on the fence with that yet. I can't tell if it's real or not, or if it's bad. But offensively, I like what I'm seeing. He can turn himself into a spot-up shooter too much. But today he had a much better mix of going to the hole, spotting up, attacking closeouts. He had a step back mid-range that he knocked down. He looked kind of like Tobias Harris, man. That's what he kind of looked like.
Yeah.
Miller 6. JT Thor.
Yep.
I like that dude, man. That is he's just like your standard 3-and-D wing, like 6'8", 6'9". Can guard really 2 through 4. Can rebound, and I think his spot up 3 is real. But I think there might be more to his game. Like he's still young and developing. Like he might be able to put the ball on the floor still. You know, I don't know yet, but like, so they got some pieces, man. They got some pieces.
All right, so they had 6 double-figure scores tonight. How does Miles integrate himself back into the fray?
I mean, to me, he's starting.
Who coming off the bench?
PJ.
Okay. And if you can still get PJ to produce like that off the bench, man, that's nuts.
Well, the thing about PJ is he's still ultimately he's kind of a system guy. Or you just have to get him shots. You just have to run some stuff for him, and you can get some action for him. Yeah.
Because he'd essentially be playing the finisher. Like he's a bench guy, but he's playing starter minutes, and he's looking to close. In some cases, I'm guessing.
I think the closing would depend on if he can defend. And that's the big question mark. He might be able to.
I meant at least for this year until they got Miller ready.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who they played down the stretch. Might have been him.
Yeah, because the lion's share of minutes was only 30 minute guys were Hayward and PJ. And Williams came right in just under 30 at 29. Rozier at 34, Melo 30. So it's only 4 cats, 30 minutes. It was great.
I mean, look at Mark Williams plus minus, man.
No, that's what I said. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That's not a perfect stat, but that tells you something right there, man. When he's by far the best on the
whole entire court.
Whole entire court.
of all the pros tonight, he was the best on the court, period. Out of everybody.
He has that presence where he makes people second guess shooting. That you can't, I am a little big guy, right? I'm a little guy, but that is something you can never fake. Like there's that size and presence you just can't. I saw with like Bam. Bam went at him, and like again, you could tell like the size was like bothering him. Like, man, that dude is big as hell, man. This is, I don't even like big dudes like that. I don't like big guys like that. But I don't have anything. I got no knock on him, man. Because like I said, you can switch on to him, but you can't just like cook him like he's nothing. He can be so big and he can move like he can bother the guards out there.
Yeah.
And then he'll rotate back. He'll do things like he had a play where he had like a rebound or the outlet or whatever. There's something kicked out to where like Terry Rozier is sprinting out ahead of the pack, catches for a layup, like a full speed layup with like 2 defenders sprinting at him type deal. And Mark Williams is literally a step behind the play to get the rebound. Like to have the big dude constantly running the break like that, and he's like consistently the second or third guy down the floor on a fast break. Like usually he'd be like a trail guy. Like think of like Embiid. Embiid's just kind of like just bringing up the rear, because he's trying to get the ball so he can cook, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, usually the 5 guys taking the ball, pass it in, and take their time up. But this dude can play in that full court, the half court. I don't know what else you want for him. I could see him playing some high posts like in the G League last year. He could hit that a few times. So if you like disrespect his 18-footer, he can knock that down.
Yeah.
Right. I want to know if that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of those deals that's like in like year 3 or 4, he's confident he's taking those, and it's the automatic type deal. And then the other thing I want to see is, and today was just like a glimpse, but like, can he pass? And so now, can you put him in the high post now and run stuff through him?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, he's not just a big dude like backs and lobs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But like, he's not, there's nothing special beyond that. Like, he's not really hooping like that.
Yeah.
I'll say I see Mark Williams being better than Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Man,
that's crazy to say.
Hey, listen, it's not. That's promising for me. Like I said, as a Hornets fan, I've liked this young team for a long time. Still think they got the best league pass announcer. I say league pass, but I'm guessing he's on normal games too. The best league pass announcer in the game. I love that dude. But
you talking about Eric Collins?
He's great, man. He's great, man. What bad thing can anybody say about him? He's awesome.
Yeah.
He brings the energy to every game, and no matter what type of game it is, they could be down a dub. He always gonna keep it. He always gonna keep it funky.
And then you got Del Curry's corny ass. Well, I love that dude, man, because like he always like brightens the situation up.
Yeah,
like, someone could be like 0 for 10, and he can, not that big of a deal, you know. And you can see why he's a good shooting coach, because it's like he's always constructive, and he's never negative. Like it doesn't feel it doesn't feel fake.
Yeah, like
it does feel kind of Mr. Rogers-ish, but like you don't feel like he's like conning you or anything. You just you actually believe in it.
Yeah. Nah, they got a squad. They got a squad from top to bottom. So, like I said, from that experience, I always enjoy it, and I just really like the fact that they're piecing this all together. And I'm really hoping that now, I don't know what type of involvement Mike has now, but I'm hoping that they do better now that Mike is there, because I just hope that they do. I hope everything great happens to them with Mike out the way. You know what I mean? Because I can't stand that dude. Absolutely can't stand him. I hate him with a passion.
I'm with you on that.
Everybody be killing me. I be like, look, man, everything he touched outside of his own career turns into dog shit. So I gotta. I mean, my Wizards are still struggling. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't all him. But he had a lot to do
with the passion. I hate Governor Jordan. That's the stuff I don't like, man. Just bad. He was just one of them dudes that's like he was on like the Donald Sterling stuff where he ain't spending no money. He just pocketing the revenue share. When it's time to actually pay somebody, nope. Ship him out. Let's get a new, like, never really putting much into the team, never really trying, just trying to make it okay. Like, you can just tell he didn't care.
No.
And then he would staff his family in positions that are actually important. And you can just tell it's one of those stuff where he just put his people on just to put them on, but they're not even doing nothing.
No, they're not fit. So I'm glad that they put the pieces in place to actually make everything work, man. Because I like watching young franchises, especially like when they can like put the pieces together and become, something dope. Like I remember when, you remember watching Milwaukee finally put it together. Remember watching like the early phases, even though the Minnesota thing didn't pan out, I saw them on the trajectory trying to do the same thing, like at the same time as Milwaukee's, who actually like panned out as far as like those team futuristic teams. But like I really like watching like the young teams. I guess I'm tired of watching, the same groups or whoever we're digesting on a nightly basis on TNT and ESPN. I really like league pass surfing and finding like those young squads. So,
man, I think the old dude's on the way up, man. Like Chris Paul looked old and slow.
mm-hmm.
I didn't watch Laker game, but it sounded like LeBron didn't. I think he was bad, but he's not the LeBron of old.
No.
Low key, Durant looked like he lost a step.
Is it finally catching up with him? What year is this? This is 16, right?
I mean, yeah, it's. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying as a fan, like I'm watching him. The Warriors defense did look good, and they were letting them be physical. It was almost like playoff defense.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even with that, I've seen Durant just like blow past people into his pull up or his crossover. But like GP was bothering them.
Enough said.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. They were letting GP hold.
Yeah,
and so he was bothering them.
Hold on. Now that made sense. I was like, he was like, looked like he lost a step, and I was like, okay, maybe he needs time to warm up. But then you said GP was on him. I was like, please, nigga, you cancel Christmas. I'd have seen him stick LeBron. Like listen, man, he don't get enough credit, and I'm not Oregon State biased. Shout out to the Oregon State fam. That dude is ridiculous, man. Especially when it's like it's a prime time dude. He's like, I have no fear. Like he's going to he meets the matchup every single time. So shout out to GP, man.
And Devin Booker is that dude, man. He's still smeared with that brush of good stats doesn't win guy, like that people put on him for no reason, like that he was the reason Suns weren't good, right? But like you watch this dude now, when this dude is cold.
Yeah,
he got a stroke, he got a handle. He can pass when he wants to. Like this dude can go.
Were you so? I don't get to talk to Miku about this. Were you not surprised when that whole discussion this offseason, they were like, well, you know, Bradley Beal should, you know, buy into playing the point. I was the only one sitting in my living room going, what y'all talking about? You already got the damn point guard. And why don't y'all just let Book go back and cook like he used to? Like he can make it work with these dudes as a facilitator. Like we got to stop getting so caught up in these positions because he's already played point guard in the league for multiple years now.
Right. Did you watch Wemby?
Yeah, I did.
So break it down because I only watched probably a quarter of it.
Yeah.
But the segment I was watching, they had Grant Williams on him. And I was thinking about like this is his theoretical worst nightmare. Right? If I was thinking of how would I bother Wemby right now, it would be like a short pit bull. Yeah. It would be like in his knees and it's hella physical with him, right?
Yeah.
And that's him. That's like it's Grant Williams. And so how did he do?
So first he doesn't understand his leverage yet, and that's because he's still young. Cat, what? This dude's 19 years old. Like he don't understand leverage yet. But I do the exact same thing. If I'm not sticking Grant Williams on him, I find prime PJ Tucker. I gotta find somebody to be able to knock this dude off his pivot because once he takes off, once he's gone, he's gone. Like we can't do anything with him. And I know you saw in the fourth when he threw himself back in the mix, you couldn't do nothing with him. Like he already knew, like, all right, I gotta make up for lost time. And he's fully capable of doing that on both levels. Like this dude is contesting shot that he ain't supposed to be contesting. Like I'm talking about dude was jumping from this elbow to contest a shot all the way out at the corner 3-point. And he was like doing it. I'm just like, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, babe, you see what this dude's doing? Like this is the alien who's finally like, they said he was gonna show up. Oh, sprinkle the unicorns down there. But nah, the real alien is like finally like showing up. But you're not going to be able to find too many dudes on a nightly basis that are going to be consistent, that'll be able to knock him off because he can play in so many different spots. Like I thought Grant Williams was an excellent matchup for him to start. And then even thinking about who we were just talking about, like I think when you get a guy like Mark Williams out there, he'll be able to bother him on a consistent basis too. But like what he showed me tonight is that he has poise. Pop believes in him. So that way, when he comes back into the game, regardless of whatever situation is, they're up, down, he's in foul trouble. He knows that he can erase the deficit because he's so effective on both ends of the court. Like it's freaking ridiculous. I'm talking about the comfort to be able to pull up on the tray ball, the comfort to be able to face up in the post, take you off one dribble. The comfort to just be able to be in the post if he is utilizing leverage to make a smart move and finish. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna be a high percentage guy this year. I don't know if the numbers are gonna be like off the charts. He might end up being like a 14 and 9 dude. But if the 14, 9 and 3. But if the Spurs end up winning anywhere between like 35 and 38 games, which it can, just based on how hard they play and the defensive ability that he affords them, like we're gonna see him in that rookie of the year mix, because like tonight they were talking about it. He's the third or fourth option. Like I believe that he can legitimately put himself in position to be the third option this year for the Spurs. But yeah, it was special to watch. Like be able to see him in that situation where he was at a deficit, 6 points, 2 rebounds for the whole entire game. 4 or 5 fouls, not playing smart. You know what I mean? But just Pop having like that vote of confidence in him, just be like, he already knows what he got to do when he come back in the game. He's like, look, you got to make up for the deficit. You ain't walking out of here with 6 points, 2 rebounds. And he just turned it on. So he's finally getting to that place where he can be comfortable. And again, like I said, the leverage, that's going to be something that's going to be something that's going to plague him this year, but I know that he's on that. My hope is that he's on that strength and conditioning program that's going to allow him to be able to sustain it throughout the year. Because he's so long and limber, he's got to be able to protect himself. So I know he's getting stronger over the course of the season. So I'm not too worried about it. I was impressed, especially with the way he was able to like erase the deficit, his own personal deficit and the team's deficit, and make it a game. So.
I want to know, is the handle real? Because he didn't really get by him, but it was close. But he was trying to like in and out, cross, hezzy, explode past Grant Williams, like just off the dribble stuff. And I'm like, is that real or is that a novelty? And then his pull up for 3, like, is that real? Is that a novelty? And right now, I want to say it's all real.
It don't feel fugazi. It feels real to me.
It feels real.
And I don't want to get too hyped up because I try not to get too hyped up now with the new number 1 picks. But man, like he makes it. This dude makes it hard not to root for him, man. Like it's ridiculous.
And man, Devin Vassell is nice.
Yeah.
The Spurs got a little something. Like when I first turned it on, it looked like it was a bunch of scrubs with a couple of good people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm watching, I'm like, man, they got some pieces too.
Keldon Johnson, tough as I don't know what. And they got a good young core of dudes that like are built to be Spurs. Like, you know what I mean? Some dudes that have actually like been through some stuff. Like, who's the kid that we used to have? Zach Collins? Is Zach Collins with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a huge Zach Collins fan, but he fits into what they're trying to do. I'm not saying he'll be. I mean, he could, you know, give him what Jakob Poeltl gave him. But like, I love Keldon Johnson. I love Vassell. And they just got a lot of tough pieces. What's the other kid's name? You know, the dude with is it Sochan?
The dude with
with the Rodman, with the Rodman,
with the Simon Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, that took me back to the VHS copy, Demolition Man. But yeah. If he can play like him, that's what we're gonna start calling him. Nah, man, they got a lot of pieces, and I just like how tough they play. Like they're tough enough to figure out what their identity is gonna be throughout the season. They're gonna make, if they're healthy, they're gonna give teams fits, man. So, like I said, I see him in that 30, 35 win range. Which would be a dope come up for them this year.
I'm mad they fumbled the Austin Reeves bag.
Austin Reeves bag?
He'd have fit good in with the Spurs, man.
I think so too.
They'd be dangerous.
Yeah, Reeves.
So who won? Dallas won?
Yeah, Dallas won. It was a close one. You know, Luka had to go ahead and throw a dagger in the mix. Cold one too. It was a cold piece.
Dallas looked all right too.
Yeah.
So a few things I always look out for, and why I never really get excited about the offseason stuff, because like I'm like, okay, I see the names are there, but what does the team look like?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially like someone like Phoenix. You gave up a lot to get Durant, and you gave up a lot to get Beal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, what do you have left? And then the Aiden trade was a great trade because they got some pieces back they needed for the team. But like, I look at their team and like they got legit role players. Like they don't have like a bunch of like LeBron's Cleveland teams where there was like this old stiffs, like people who couldn't like move, or really old like vets like Mike Miller, right?
Yeah, dudes that will be worthless come clutch playoff time.
Yeah, but like I've always loved Drew Eubanks, and you put him out there with KD, Book, and what's my man Beal?
Mm-hmm.
Like all he has to do is just eat glass.
Yeah,
the fan, and this what he does. I mean, like he's going to grow bigger into his role.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to take more of Nurkic's minutes. Nurkic looks like a dude who he got some miles on him, man. Like the injuries you can see it like this. There's like this like giddy up step that people get when like you get old, where you gotta get it moving first, right? And he's starting to get there.
Low key wheelchair assisted.
But so the Suns look good to me.
Yeah.
And then Dallas look good. Like their role players look good to me. And
I like Lively.
Derek Lively looks good. So I'm just
he looks good.
Luka and Kyrie can throw lobs too. So like, man, what's the other light skinned dude? Powell.
Mm-hmm.
He's athletic, catching lobs.
That's a good bet. That's a good bet.
Josh Green catching lobs.
Mm-hmm.
This might be Lob City in Dallas.
I know. He could sniff out a Tyson Chandler bag if he's lucky, man.
I guess the real question is, where are you at with AD? Do you believe
where am I with AD?
Yeah.
So here's where I struggle as a big man. You know I'm pro big man. I hate these like narratives. You know what I mean? Like when cats keep talking about like, oh, he's soft and he's unreliable. We don't give these cats enough credit for what they do. Like, you know what I mean? Like how much of this game he's had to adjust. You know what I mean? Like he's he's not built to play. He's not built to play that position. You know what I mean? So it's like I give him credit for sticking it out and playing it. But like for me, man, like I try not to be too. If anybody's soft, it's me. I'm soft on AD. So it's like I always give him a pass. You know what I mean? Because I already know like the type of energy he has to exert to be on. Like he's a two-way dude. Like you're expecting him to be able to, you know, stop at a high level and score at a high level. And I think he's one of the best in the league when he's doing it. But as soon as something happens, like if there's a crack in the windshield, everybody's ready to throw away the car. But I'm like, that dude is, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, it's still a serviceable vehicle. Like, you just take it and fix the rock chip. You know what I mean? It's going to be all good. So, like, I feel like with him, everything is always going to be reactive because of who he is and, you know, like the history. So, like, I never buy into the narratives always soft. We got to ship him out. Yeah. And like, nah, man, he's here. He's here to build up whatever I got to be able to do with this franchise, utilize him to the best of his ability. And then we'll see what happens. But he just re-upped on his bread, so he's gonna be here for a while. So you might as well, you know, like we gotta stop complaining and just enjoy the shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, can he play better? Of course he can. But it's like this dude never gets a chance to, especially since he's put on that uniform, that Laker uniform, he don't get a chance to do anything outside of being perfect. So that's my critique on AD.
What's my critique?
I told you, man. That's just how I feel. That's my guy, man.
I don't believe in him. I don't have any new takes. They've all been heard before.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in him.
You don't believe in him?
Nah.
What would you do with him then? I'm more interested in what you would do with him if you had a chance to be able to manipulate the situation. Because that's what I always ask people. I'm like, well, what would you do with him?
What do you mean? Like, when you say what would you do, who am I in this scenario?
You are top brass for the Lakers, and you get to make the decisions now based on everything that you feel. What would you do with AD? Go.
I don't know what you can do. But here's the deal though. Why are you going to what are they going to do and not looking to put any responsibility or blame on AD right now? It's like you just misdirected the conversation to like, what are you going to do about the AD? And it's like, nah, man, what's AD going to do about AD? He's a problem. Like you can say like, you don't want to throw away the car because you crack a windshield, right? But it's like, it's always broken down.
It's
like,
not.
It's like he's like a 2015 BMW, man. Like it looks nice, man. The thing looks pristine, it's shiny, but it's in the shop every other month, man. And like it's always something, and he's just not it. He's not.
Yeah, he's not built for that. He is not built. I agree. He is not built for that position. He is not. He is not.
And the second he feels something, he shuts it down.
Y'all gotta give him a little bit more grace, man. That dude puts in a lot of work.
I'm not in the business of giving grace. Like that's not the conversation we're having.
Oh, I know. But I'm just saying, for what this dude is able to do with that frame, playing outside of himself, he's not even in his natural position. Like if we could actually get AD to play in his natural position, we get more of him. And I hope
he's supposed to be the franchise.
Of course he is, but he's supposed to be the franchise at his position. For him, his position matters. And he stressed that when he first got there. He was like, dog, I gotta find somebody to be down here. This ain't me. This ain't me. He said that.
They got Christian Wood.
Huh? They don't play them together.
Well, that sounds like a Darvin Ham problem then.
Yeah. I ain't gonna talk greasy on Darvin Ham. No, they was ready to chop his head off on the internet last night or a couple nights ago, but that ain't me. I won't chop his head off. But nah, man, to me, Christian Woods is AD embracing that role at that position. Because I like Christian Woods at the 5. And I know he one of them dudes that's like, I don't want to play the 5 either, but it's like, you're probably better at the 5.
Yeah, he's a 5. What's he talking about?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, remember in Detroit trying to stretch for his way out, then he get to Dallas, try to stretch for his way out, then he get to LA, they're like, you're the 5. If we're gonna win, you gotta be the 5. This guy look at the guy over there with the unibrow. You're the 5.